This is the Aptitude Outdoors Podcast, where we interview travelers, explorers, and outdoorsmen and women to bring you the best tips and stories from around the world.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah. Cheers, brother.
Cheers. That's how you start a podcast right there. It doesn't look like the video is recording.
No.
I don't know what's going on, but...
Okay, try this again. We got
Cheers.
sabotaged on the first one.
Cheers,
buddy.
What are we drinking today, Derek?
Got the maple mashed sweet potato. It's a milk stout maple and sweet potato.
So Derek and I are what you would call craft beer aficionados, and by that, we really have no idea what we're talking about, but we love drinking this shit.
I know what I like, and then I'll approach people that are really into the craft beer scene, like they got the full-on craft beer mustache.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go over that a little more later, but but they'll describe adjectives. I'm just like, oh yeah. I know what I don't know what they're talking about. I just know what I like.
We like to drink. We like to have a good time. Derek and I are in a band together, Astralborn. For those of you who don't know, I've hinted on it in the past, but Derek is a guitar player, lead songwriter, basically the brains.
Well,
I just hit the record button, play bass. Yeah.
Jason Cessna's our drummer, and he said before, like, oh yeah, you got the talent of the group, and I don't think of it that way. It's filtered through my boy Paulie here.
No.
Yeah, he rounds off the edges. There's some rough edges going on.
But the reason I wanted you on the podcast is because since we've been jamming together, we recently got signed to a record label and been hanging out a lot, having to write records and record records. We do all of the record recording also here in the podcast studio,
Can they
aka
see that?
my house. Yeah, they can see
guitars?
they can see everything if they're watching on YouTube.
Sweet.
So Derek and I have spending a lot of time together, and he comes over here and he sees all this outdoor shit I have laying around. He's like, "What is that, man?"
I remember the backpacks when I first met you. I'm like, why has this guy got so many goddamn backpacks?
Like, what do you need that many backpacks?
Like big
for?
backpacks. Like to me, they were just for school. Throw them on your back and walk around. And he told me how much they cost. And I'm like, this guy's a total fucking idiot. Can you say fuck on the podcast?
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll keep it to a minimum.
Just keep it to a maximum, and I think we'll be okay. So what is it? I think over the summer we started just kind of bullshitting, and you started doing more stuff with your wife outdoors. Like you travel up to northern Michigan. You started like renting cabins and camping and stuff.
You know what did it for me and her, for me especially, was the winter cabin that we got in Astralborn. I think that was what did you call it?
What the?
You went to Sequaminon Falls and you said that you got bit by the bug.
Oh yeah, it's kind of your primer into the world.
Oh man, this is pretty cool. You know, it's an escape. That's why I like it.
Yeah. So like a backstory is Derek and I, when we were recording the first album, the three of us, Derek, Jason, and myself, went up to this cabin in northern Michigan. We rented it and we recorded a bunch of acoustic guitar videos. We just kind of hung out, drank a bunch of beer. I'll put links to the videos if you guys want to watch them on YouTube.
Sweet.
They're actually pretty cool. They're all live. Like we didn't like record after the fact and try and make it look cool. Like we practiced our asses off and played.
And remember, we said craft beer connoisseurs. Look at the background of those videos. It'll all become clear to you.
And yeah, we had a blast up there. And Derek and I ended up hiking around a lot at the cabin. There's like a huge property. And then I think every year since then, you and your wife have rented like multiple cabins up in Michigan.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple times per year even. But I love northern Michigan.
Yeah. And so when did we start talking about doing a backpacking trip together?
I think probably a year ago. It just never came to be until recently. It was random. I was at work and I texted you about it. It came up and you're like, yeah, we should totally do it. And we just set it up right there on the phone. And then just made it happen that quick.
Yeah. So what was it like for you? We went up to the Manistee River Loop, which I've done a million times. Out here, going backpacking on the Manistee River Trail for the 5th or 6th time. I'm bringing Derek and Lisa out here.
What's up?
Never been backpacking before. It's gonna be sick. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend. Christina, the veteran, wearing my sick Pit Viper Oakleys.
They're not Pit Viper.
And what happened is we were originally going to go to somewhere else. We were gonna go to a new trail I'd never been to.
You said Kentucky, I think.
Indiana. We were gonna go to Indiana, and then I was looking at the trails, and I was like, there was no water sources. It was a lot. It would have been a big heavy carry for you guys for water, which it's your first experience. I didn't want to load you.
So
up
that's
too hard.
important on your first time. You need a water source, or you're
because you can carry a lot of water, but you saw how much water we all drank in 2 days. So
I think I just had 2 water bottles in my pack. That obviously didn't last long.
it was 3 days, but yeah, we were gonna go there, and I decided let's go somewhere a little more in northern Michigan, maybe, because that's where you guys like. And then I ordered the maps, and it was like the day before we were supposed to leave, and they didn't show up. They didn't show up at all, and I was like really upset because with COVID and everything going on, they just never arrived. So
we were going to go to 2 other joints, and then you didn't get the map, so then we went to the Manistee River Loop.
Yeah, because I already had the map and I knew it. So it kind of worked out pretty good, I would say, because it sounded like you guys had a good time.
Oh, I had a great time, dude.
What was your initial thought when you decided you were going to go? What did you think it would be like?
I knew it was going to be hard. I knew it was going to be a test, but you can think all you want, but once you're out there, it's a totally different ball game.
Was it hard?
Yeah, the physicality that you need to possess to do it. I mean, I don't want to say you can't do it if you're not a physical person, but it's going to be tough for you if you don't possess some kind of physical ability.
What made me laugh is I was like, yeah, we're going to do this trail. It's like 3 days. It's about 25 miles. And you're like, what? Can we do that? I was like, well, yeah.
He set the pace, man. He's not Aptitude Outdoors for nothing. As soon as we started, he was ahead of the pack by like 5 people, just mowing through the woods. He was like Sasquatch.
Oh man, those trips are always tough though, because like when a lot of people, they get to go backpacking. Sometimes it's an overnight. For us, I had to drive 2 hours to get to your house. And then from your house,
another 4 hours
almost, to get to where we were going. And then we got out of the car and just hit the trail. We parked and we just started humping it, man. And it was
he don't play around, man. It's just straight business. Do you always set the pace like that, or was you just? Is that just your natural element?
I was just walking.
Yeah, you could tell he comes alive on the trail. He's just. Whoa.
I wasn't trying to ditch you guys. I was just walking at my pace, and we got pretty far on the first day. We went close to 7 miles. How'd you feel when we got to camp?
I was hurting. That was the most I ever walked in a day on this experience. That was the longest my physical body has been outdoors in my life, which, I mean, it's kind of sad to say, but that's true. I've never been outside for 3 days. I don't know what reason I would have unless I was homeless, but
the first day was pretty odd. We were going to try and go further, but it ended up getting pretty close to dark. We were
going to try to go further the first day.
Yeah, and we were like, let's just call it. It was like 6:30 or close to 6:30, and sunset was like 7 or something.
Okay.
So we wanted to get set up because I didn't want you guys trying to set up camp in the dark. You could easily see how much that would suck.
Yeah, for sure. I don't even know how that would be. You would obviously know what you were doing, but somebody new to the game, I wouldn't suggest it.
We just got to our first campsite after, I don't know, maybe like 7-8 miles of hiking. How you feeling, Derik?
Pretty good, man.
Butt hurt?
It was rough. My back's all knotted up. Gotta get some calisthenics in there.
My back.
Pussy ain't my crack.
Spinal. Lisa, how are you feeling?
I feel great. I'm ready for some more.
My back is broken.
I'm sore, but I'm good.
My feet hurt a little bit, but I'm good. Did you think the pack was heavier than it would be, or what do you think it was comfortable?
It was pretty heavy for me. I mean, I'm a $155.
I'm $250. I like doubled your size.
But a vivid memory of mine when I took the pack off, like my spine felt compressed, and then when I took it off, it was like. It was just a vivid feeling that I had when I took that pack off for the first time. Like, holy crap.
Well, and you were wearing my pack, which is like
heavier?
Sized for me. Which
okay.
is I'm probably, a couple inches taller than you at least. Definitely way more a lot more.
I think you're probably 6 inches taller than me.
So, yeah, I mean, it's always tough when you're using hand-me-down gear, but whatever.
I'd rather do that than spend $300 on a backpack, man. I would definitely tell all the newcomers, just if you got a guide that can help you, just borrow their gear and make sure you're into it before you go full tilt. With any hobby, you should do that.
So the first night of the trip is my absolute favorite because I'll let you tell the story. We basically set up camp. We brought a small bottle of Jim Beam. Derek and I each brought a can of beer.
Oh yeah,
with our wives, and we drank those around the campfire, crushed them up, threw them in our packs. Obviously,
I wish we had more beer.
Well, yeah,
we were reaching the next couple days. Like, man,
should have brought a 12er out. But we basically had some beer, and we brought a small, like one of those little mini bottles of Jim Beam. We kind of passed that around, and it got dark.
He taught me the bear bag throwing he tied it to a stick, and you heave it up over the branch, the rope for the bear bag.
That was entertaining.
I missed like 25 times, but I was determined. It was a pretty tough throw, though, for your first one.
Yeah, the trees are pretty high.
And then I made it the one time, but I wasn't holding on to the rope, so I just bailed. Remember, I got it after like the 5th try.
Yeah.
Got to hang on to that rope.
He just totally went right over the tree. I was trying not to piss my pants laughing. But we're like, okay, and we're ready to go to sleep. You and Lisa get in your tent. We go in our tent, and like, this is where it's fun for me. Like a half hour later, it's like 11:30 and midnight. Why don't you
noises?
Go from here? The noises.
I was trying to get sleep. You're obviously really excited, so you're already having a hard time sleeping. I think it was a minute past midnight. I'm not bullshitting, and I hear like so loud, it just jarred me. I literally thought a hiker was carrying like a blowhorn. And then, but it had a couple like whipping sounds after it, and I knew it was some kind of animal. You supposedly heard more later. I didn't catch that.
It was definitely some sort of owl. But the funny thing is I woke up too, and I was like, oh shit, that was loud as fuck. And like the first thing you think is like your brain's still trying to wake up, and you're like, oh god, what the hell is going on? But I've had so many hours in the woods camping and whatever. It's kind of like I was up, and then it kind of gets your heart going for a second, and then you're like, oh okay, and you just kind of go back to sleep. But you said you were up till like 4 a.m.
I think just off and on throughout that first night, I was too excited to try to get any real sleep.
Is that your first time sleeping outdoors?
No, I've camped before in a tent, but it was like one of those makeshift campgrounds. It was Sunny Campground. I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's around here somewhere.
Okay. So it was. I just imagined you laying in your tent, eyes wide open until 4 a.m. It was a long night last night. Wasn't that cold, but we heard some demons screaming in the woods.
A demon let out a shriek, scared the fuck out of me at midnight. It's a sound. I was like, what the fuck?
What was that again, Derek? It was creepy at midnight, but I'm pretty sure it was an owl. How'd you sleep?
Good. I didn't sleep that good. I got to sleep at 4 a.m.
Worrying about those demons.
Yeah, demon seed.
I heard something crashing through the woods in the middle of the night.
I heard branches breaking loose. Did you hear that? It would have scared the shit out of you.
It'll keep you out the woods when it's dark, and there was no moon last night. It was just pitch black.
Oh, I was about to call Polly. Can you go check?
Yeah, that's a no for me, dog.
You're on your own, bud.
I don't know. I think both of the sounds I heard were owls, but it was still when you get woken up out of a dead sleep to a demon screaming in the middle of the night. You're like, I did hear some coyotes over there down in the valley. That was pretty cool. Other than that, it was like real sweaty.
Yeah, it's pretty stinky. It's
no.
like a hot gas station window. It was a second night, dude. I think it was you snoring. Cause out in the woods, man, it's so quiet. You hear every vivid little sound. I heard Paul turning in his tent like 25 times. The sound that the sleeping bag makes. I think he was snoring because I heard. And dude, my heart beat so goddamn bad for a second. That was probably the most scared I had ever been in my life.
It's really good for you. The first night though, I actually got scared. I woke up, I fell asleep, probably back asleep at like, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. And just like, you never sleep that great in the woods. Like you never are like in a tent, like,
No?
I feel super well. I don't. I always, it's not comfortable. It's not your bed. You're always a little hot, a little cold. It's not like at home where everything's climate controlled.
Those little blow up pads helped though. I was surprised how comfortable those were for what they are.
Yeah, those are. I love those things, man. And you're lucky. I mean, because I didn't when I was young, growing up camping and shit. I had no idea that those existed. I was just like, either sleep on the ground or like those real
just
shitty
on the
Walmart
straight ground, like on a blanket.
It's just fucking cold and nasty. But the thing that scared the shit out of me is I woke up again at 4 in.the.morning to crashing through the brush because we were up on a hill in northern Michigan. I mean, there's some elevation up there, not anything like mountains, but there's some significant ups and downs. And we were up at the top of this, like, I don't know, a big hill. We camped at the top, and below us was real brushy. And I hear this crash through the brush, and I wake up. And I'm like, what the hell?
What night was this?
This is the first night.
Oh, wow. You slept I didn't hear it.
Yeah. And it was, then I heard this, like, it was like a wheezing dog bark noise. It scared the living shit out of me. I have never heard that before. And luckily, like, when you're backpacking, sometimes there's a little bit of service. Sometimes there's no service. It just depends on where you're at. And I had like 1 bar of service. So I flipped my phone open. And I'm like wide awake now. I'm trying to type in like, what makes this noise?
How would you even describe the noise?
I just typed it in like raspy barking, and it was
coyote.
No, I heard coyotes that night too, off in the distance. Like I heard them running in a pack and kind of barking and stuff. I know what coyotes sound like, so that doesn't really freak me out. I mean, they could get in your camp and bite you or something. I don't know, but it was. Long story short, is a deer. A deer made this noise. I had never heard that deer noise before. It was like a startled deer call. So I'm assuming the deer was either like just tearing ass through the woods and ran into some brush and freaked out, or it ran up,
caught our scent,
and smelled us and was like, oh shit, and freaked out. But that did freak me out. But then I saw what it was online and I was like, oh, okay, and I went back to sleep. So.
Wish you had your bow on you, huh?
Yeah. We did. Derik and I so this morning we were here in the house getting ready for album 2, which we're pretty stoked about. And so we like to get things in order early. We did all of your guitar tones today, which, we have a digital recording studio here where I do the podcast and all the music stuff. So we spent a good, I would say, 3 hours doing that this morning?
Oh, yeah, 3 hours. Just to find one guitar tone.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad.
We drove down here from Detroit and
at 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning, and we've been doing that. But then in the middle of the day, before we started the podcast, we went out to the West Winds Archery Park, which isn't far from my house, and we shot some rounds. It was packed. There were so many people out there today.
Yeah.
I shot like shit. We both lost an arrow.
Yeah. I just got that pack of arrows too, but I guess that's the name of the game.
That's what I was kind of saying earlier, like when you started coming over here and you started asking me about this shit, and one day you texted me, you're like, dude, I'm thinking about getting a bow. And I was like, oh, well, this is what I have. This is a pretty good bow. I really like it. I'm rocking the Bear Divergent. I'm no archery master. And then like, I didn't say anything else. And then like 2 days later, you're like, I got a bow, dude. I was like, what?
Sent him the full spread, target, bow.
Yeah.
The guy at Field and Stream was he was happy to sell me all that gear.
It was awesome. So we've been shooting every time we comes over to do some studio stuff. We actually got a target set up in the side yard. We get a little stressed out in the studio. I'm sure we'll be flinging some arrows.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's badass,
Half drunk, shooting arrows.
Trying not to hit anybody walking by. But it's Swanton, Ohio, man. This dude literally lives in a cornfield.
Yeah.
You ain't hitting shit out here.
What do you think of archery?
Oh, I love it. I mean, Ted Nugent would tell it better than me, but I love his description of it. It's just about the flight of the arrow, like nothing else around you. You're just fixated on one goal, one task. It's just something I appreciate about that.
It's a lot like guitar. Strings.
Yeah, it's got a string on it. Yeah,
It's
I suppose
hard.
you could play it.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's brutal.
Oh, okay.
Learning it is tough.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of time, patience. Hard to do when you're drunk.
Well, even the outdoor stuff, it's like, it's just kind of dangerous. Maybe that's what it is.
Like living on the edge. You hit your mid-30s and you're like,
I got to do something dangerous. I got to do something real. Like the line between danger and safety needs to be skewed a little bit.
yeah. Well, so we went off on tangents there. Back to the backpacking trip. Day 2, what'd you think? How are your legs feeling as a first timer?
Oh, dude, my legs were shot at work for a week after everything. The whole week I was limping because I work on a commercial digital printing press, and I'm just hobbling all around. They probably thought I got hurt on the job, but no. Little they know I was out in the woods with a freaking Paul Bunyan over here. Feeling the burn, buddy.
How your feet holding up?
They're holding up pretty good. They don't look too bad, do they? Dogs are barking, son.
They stink. That's
They're stinking.
You did good though, man. Like day 2 is always rough because you're all fresh and limber on day 1. You wake up and you're like, oh shit, everything hurts. I am not ready for this. And then you got to do another 10 miles or.
I think the fact that the wife and I aren't totally lazy might have helped. Like I said, you got to possess some level of physicality to do well at what he's doing out there.
It's just fun. I don't think of it. I just think of it as fun. I love it.
So there's no physical aspect of it
there
to you.
is. You have to be in some form of physical shape to do a lot of the stuff. I mean, you're carrying you're adding 30 or 40 pounds to your body weight, and then you're walking pretty decently long distances.
I mean this in every positive way. For a guy your size, I was very impressed with how limber he was on the trail.
He's a quick boy.
Yeah, for real.
Well, I've done it a ton too, so I know what.
That's a lot of man coming at you.
Don't come fucking around with me in the woods. But what did you think of day 2? Did you feel just like, oh shit, this is never gonna end, or was it a long? It was a long day. We hiked a long ass day.
I don't know. You kind of get in the zone, like we're doing this. Like there's no turning back. You're in the middle of the woods, miles in. He kept showing me like, oh, look where you're at.
Those big hills over there where we just came from. You guys ready to do 20 more miles?
20 more. Let's go. We're gonna go 60. We'll get through the day at pause pace.
Yeah, baby.
But yeah, there's no turning back. So it's you either lay down and die, or you're just gonna keep going.
What'd you think of the views up there at in Manistee?
Beautiful, amazing. I haven't seen nothing like that. The elevation. Like we would get to one side and you would look into the horizon, and we were just over there like an hour ago. Like holy shit,
yeah,
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's why I love to do it, because you get to see shit that not a lot of people get to see. I mean, like you can see it on a picture, but when you're there in person, seeing that, you're just like
totally different.
Damn, this is some real shit right here. And yeah, it was cool to kind of like show you guys, like, see on the map right here, you're looking over at these high hills on the other side of the river that we were at the day before, and you're like, holy shit. I was like, we probably camped right there on that top of that ridge. You're like, what?
Yeah, you're doing all this on foot. Like, I think I figured out, like, I could walk from Toledo to Monroe, Michigan, like all the ground we covered.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think about.
Night 2 was pretty fun. We actually got super lucky because the campsite I wanted to stay at, which I always try and get, was taken. And luckily we saw it from like a good quarter mile away. There was somebody camped out on this peninsula that I usually
down by the river, right?
So we settled at this one that was way up. And in Manistee, you're walking along the river, but you're very high up. You're not like on the river. Mm-hmm. Like on a lot of trails, you're like walking right next to the river and you can just dive in or whatever. We were up. I would say that was 100 feet at least.
Oh, that fall would kill you in a minute.
So we were like, we actually set up camp. We set everything up. We had our tents up. We had our bear bags up. And then Derik and I were like, let's see if we can scramble down this like sand face to get to the water so we don't have to walk.
Steep.
Yeah, we're like, we don't want to walk all the way down like a quarter mile back to get water. And then...
So we originally went to collect water is what we were doing.
And then we looked, and I was like looking over the edge, and there I saw this little footpath. I was like, dude, let's go down there. And we get down. It turned into a little bit sort of path. Like you could tell not a lot of people had been down there, but it's still like enough where it looked like a trail. So we get down to the river, and there's a perfect camp spot. Super secluded. There's nobody going to be camping there.
No.
So I was like, dude, we should totally tear up camp and come back down here. And you looked at me like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, but I was for it, man. I just knew the work that was ahead of us that we just worked to unpack on the top of the hill. And when I say it was high up, it's no exaggeration. Like you're climbing. So we agreed to do it. Paul was just trying to show off. He bolts up the hill. You remember that?
Yeah.
He freaking took off like a bat out of hell up the hill. And I'm like, you know what, man? Screw this guy. I'm gonna try to beat him too. And we make it up to the top. He gives me a fist bump, and we start packing up.
Yeah. It was the look on our wives' faces when we said we were going to unpack everything and go back down there.
Well, we let them just go down there. Like, go ahead, we'll get it.
Pack everything up, run down there, set up, and it was awesome.
That was worth it.
I took my set everything back up and just took my I was wearing pants. I rolled them up, took my shoes off, and I just stood in that cold ass water for 10 minutes.
Yep.
My feet were hurting like shit.
That was the clearest water ever, dude.
All right, so we're at the end of day 2 of our backpacking trip, and the campsite that we wanted to go to was taken, unfortunately. So we walked back, I don't know, quarter mile to the campsite before it, and there's nobody there. It was really high off of the water. It was up there, and we just walked down to the bottom of it to try and find water, and we found a way cooler campsite kind of tucked along the river, and that's where we're going to be staying tonight because I want to hear the sound of the river. Derek, what do you think of the new campsite?
It's badass, dude. Last minute find. You had to put the work in to get here, but
Macho
well
Man,
worth it.
Macho Man Derek Savage. The Manistee's nice, man. You kept saying, I wish we would have brought fishing poles, dude.
I would have left that get-a-lele home in a minute to bring a fishing rod with me.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. We bought, what do they call Gita-leles? They're little Yamaha guitars.
6-string ukulele.
6-string, but they're like a guitar that they play like a guitar that's capoed at the 5th fret. So they're like up a few octave or an octave, or I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. They play higher than normal guitars. So like when you're trying to play something and sing or something, it's in a completely different key and it fucks you all up. But yeah, those definitely added more to your pack. Well, usually you would not bring that shit.
No, I think we even got a couple looks like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, when you do something like that, every person you walk by is like, where's the concert, bro? You're just like, fuck you. Leave me alone.
So is that something that's looked down upon in the backpacking community? Like,
No.
you got all that weight on you.
It's just, normally you don't bring a guitar out in the middle of the woods, but people do it all the time.
Well, we were watching this. Are you familiar with Dixie? It's this blonde chick that does she has her crown in backpacking. Isn't that when
Triple Crown? Yeah. Oh, I know her. She's the YouTube girl.
Yes.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And we were getting pointers from her. I'm not gonna lie. Like the whole 2 weeks up to the trip.
You watched 100 videos.
Yes, just to try to have some knowledge on it. But she was talking about breaking toothbrushes in half just to go down and wait. We're bringing these big get-a-lales with us. Like, what the?
We're only going 3 days.
Right.
Well, it's camp 2 nights, and then you have a short final day. But I slept so good that second night, I think, because I was so exhausted. It was good. I put my headphones in, and I downloaded an instrumental heavy metal
there was some
shredder
sweet stuff
songs
on there. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was digging all that.
I was listening.
I couldn't
to that.
play any of it, but it was pretty good.
Listen to that. I was like, I don't care what. If there could be a friggin' Bigfoot and a bear and a beaver outside my tent having a fight, and I'm sleeping. I don't give a shit. I'm so tired because I had to drive back the next day. That's all I kept thinking about. You said you slept bad on the second night too?
I mean, just like I said, you're just so excited out there. Like, this is a new experience, and you know what I mean? You're just anticipating the next day. What's this going to be like,
You grew up fishing, though.
Yeah. I used to fish the Maumee River a lot. I know you're a big Maumee River fan. I think you kayaked the whole thing, you said.
Yeah.
But we used to go down behind where the Hollywood Casino is back there. There's like really good catfishing down behind there. We were bummed when they built that casino.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, we can't go there no more. The city put a fence up, and we took bolt cutters down there and cut the damn fence apart. We should do a podcast of that, sneaking down and getting some catfish in there.
Getting arrested.
But yeah, no, that was cool. That was my introduction to the outdoors, was fishing.
But you grew up in like the city. You
Yeah.
Like I grew up in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you just told me that in the woods.
Like I grew up in Ida, Michigan, and my dad and mom had a 10-acre property, which was
That's
the
sweet.
part of a huge wooded area. So like, yeah, it was. I grew up in that shit. So it's like you grew up in Toledo, you know.
Right.
So I mean, how often did you go fishing as a kid? Like all the damn time, or?
I usually went every weekend for years, and then I met Jason and we started jamming, and I kind of just abandoned it.
Became a long-haired asshole.
Yeah. Yep, that's true.
Well, you're getting back to nature, which is cool. Do you think you'd ever go backpacking again?
Yes. I want to plan the next one. Let's plan the next one.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing I like about where we live is, so you're up in Detroit now. You moved up to Detroit. I don't know why the hell you would do that, but you did. And I'm trying to move further away from the city, and you're like moving into the heart of Detroit.
Well, you live and learn.
Yeah, but it's sweet because like we can just swing by your house on the way up to somewhere in northern Michigan and just pick you up and rock out into the trails.
Or we could do something down south, and I swing by you, and we keep heading that way. Hocking Hills, that was cool. I've been there once.
Oh yeah, what do you like? You like Hocking Hills?
I thought it was sweet.
Didn't you guys shoot a music video?
We
on
shot a
Hocking Hills
music
with your
video
other
there.
band?
Hammerhorde in the Name of Winter's Wrath. Check it out.
Dude, I remember hearing stories of you guys. I don't know. All of our music videos and stuff are all like, I think it's because there's so much like forested area around us. We just end up
In the forest somehow.
doing like music videos and shit in the woods, because our last music video, Eternity's End, we did in the woods.
It just, metal and woods goes hand in hand. It's like, it's just atmospheric. It just adds to it.
Derik had a leather jacket on and face paint like black metal.
Someone called it a pleather jacket in one of the reviews.
Leather jacket. No, that music video shoot was actually pretty fun. We
was
rented
sweet.
another cabin. It was near Hocking Hills, actually.
But that one was different. It was like a community cabin, wasn't it?
It was weird.
It's like a big apartment complex with cabins. That's what it reminded me of.
We expected, the first one we did was super secluded.
Yeah.
It was like, what was it, Frederick, Michigan?
Frederick, Michigan. It's like right outside Gaylord.
Yeah, you've rented that cabin like 8 times.
No, one other time.
You have a picture of it framed on your wall at your house.
It was sweet, man.
Yeah.
It was a good experience.
And so the second cabin we rented, we expected the same thing. We're going to be in the middle of nowhere. It's just going to be us hanging out. And, we always do kind of like everybody cooks a meal every night or morning or whatever. So
I think my chili was a little too spicy for these guys. I was dumping half it in the woods going, man.
he's like using like veal and shit in his chili. We're like, damn, this boy's a
Mystery meat.
Chef Boyardee over here. But when we go to these cabins, we basically bring a shitload of food, a shitload of beer. And
Way
it's not
too
like,
much beer.
Always. And it's not like a camping trip. It's like a boys only, just like
I don't like the sound of that.
Escapade. Boys only, no girls allowed. We do a lot of work, but it's like it's all
work.
Filming. When you're on a record label, you always have to be
You got
putting out
something to
stuff.
do.
And we always have, we don't have any, like, we all have jobs and we make decent money, but we aren't like rich enough to hire a production company to come out and film our music videos. So we're doing that shit all by ourselves. So for us, we can't rent a sound stage, like a big Hollywood sound stage and go shoot like a badass green screen music video. That's, we all have DSLRs and we go out and rent these cabins because the woods is an easy backdrop.
Right. And there's no film crew. Like, it's literally just us. I'm warming up guitar as I'm setting up a microphone stand. Like, it's crazy.
So the cabin was fun, but like what went off trail again. We thought we'd have this whole woods to ourselves, and nobody would be around. So we're setting up, and Jason, our drummer, had to set up on this lake because we rented it because there's this big lake, and we're like, oh, I'm gonna do some sweet drone shots flying over you while you're playing your drums. We got this lake. And this is like an 8 or 9 minute music video. That's fucking long.
That's a long. It's too long of a song to make a damn music video out of, but we do it anyway.
The song is 12 minutes, but the music video we cut down to 9.
We had to.
We did like a director's cut.
Is it 9 minutes?
It's
the music?
long.
Wow.
And so we shot the whole damn thing ourselves with a drone and 3 DSLRs and some microphones. And our drummer sets up on this lake, and there's people driving by, and there's houses everywhere, and there's like people coming out of their porches and looking at us like, what the hell?
Well, remember the test shot on the snare? He went boom, and you could hear it out into the distance. Like, oh boy!
I think we made him do it in 1 or 2 takes because he was like, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, me and Paul are the nervous ones. Like, oh god, we gotta get this done. Jason's like, I don't care.
Yeah, that was a good time. So you and Lisa also recently went to, Sleeping Bear Dunes? What do you think of that?
Oh, that was amazing. Well, we tried it the first time, and we did the rookie mistake of just not being prepared at all. No water.
We've all done that.
No nothing. And it's only 3 miles if you do isn't it only 1.5 miles one way?
I don't remember.
It's not that much, but going through the sand and the elevation, it just makes it way harder. So you get halfway and the sun was just beating on us. It was like June, I think, when we went.
You were probably wearing like jeans and shit.
I'm not,
or jorts.
I probably did have jeans, jorts. no jorts for this guy.
Derik only wears jorts.
Yeah, no. But no, we digged it. We went back and we did another round and we completed it this time.
What'd you think?
Oh, it was sweet. But at the end, I was telling you earlier, there just must have been high winds that day coming off of the lake. Because right before the last, downgrade, the sand was just biting you in the face, like hard. It felt like glass just hitting you in the face. I just shut my eyes, grip my teeth, and you run through it like a final boss, you know? And we made the beach, and we chilled there for like 2 hours. It was awesome.
Yeah, dude. That anywhere up there in northern Michigan is just killer. Dude.
I'm a big fan of northern Michigan, but if you can introduce me to some other spot, that's all I have right now.
I think next time you guys did really well with that trip, so I think
Appalachian Trail,
dude, Appalachian Trail's right next for you. I think we could take you somewhere a little more advanced. I don't know, maybe some actual mountains.
That would be sweet.
But yeah, I mean, you won't be doing 7 miles a day. You're probably doing like 4, but
because of the mountains, elevation,
it's a lot harder.
I can imagine.
It is. It'd be like, you know how when we were walking up the hills and you get tired? It's like that, but for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. You're just grueling up a mountain. You're just like, oh shit, this is never gonna end. And especially in like the Appalachian Mountains, which is way closer for us than out west. Obviously, I've never done any backpacking or anything out west, but it's tough. It's not easy. But we could do like West Virginia, even Southern Ohio has some elevation. You got Red River Gorge down in Kentucky. There's plenty of places we could go. It just depends on where you guys want to go.
I'll go wherever, man. Throw a dart at the map and we'll hit it.
I think our next endeavor, you were just talking about, you told me about this, was it take a flight up into Canada and go fishing?
That would be sweet.
What's that all about? You said you were telling me about it yesterday.
My boss at work showed me about it. So they rent out these rustic cabins, and they are rustic. Like, there's nothing nice about it. I don't think the wives will have a good time at these places.
I don't know.
They might if your wife's got a little bit of grit to her, she'll enjoy it. But
drinking beer and fishing all day.
Well, there was a picture on the website. Man, I can't remember it right now. Maybe he can post a link when I find it. But it's these 3 old dudes like chilling out by the biggest mound of PBR cans I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, that's what I want to be when I grow up.
That's what our studio sessions look like. We just keep all the beer cans. It's pretty impressive. I don't know how we're not have like cirrhosis of the liver, dead.
Yeah,
that's like our whole recording session.
Maybe that's when our careers will end. Or like the 5th album would put us down. So, I asked this to one of my friends before on the podcast, Craig, and he was like, hell no. But do you think now that you're doing a lot more outdoorsy stuff, does that have any influence on your music?
Because you write.
Oh, yeah,
you write
yeah.
a lot of it. Like you write all. You and Jason write it all, and I'm what you would call a producer, I guess, for the most part. Just kind of like doing the ideas at the end to make it more polished.
You're asking if the outdoors influences my music.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, 110%. Even on the drive up here to your place, like just seeing the fall leaves, the fall colors, I'm in my head kind of articulating some kind of riff in my head, you know?
And it's weird with metal because it doesn't seem like it has a lot to do with the outdoors, but a lot of bands use the imagery of like the woods and the outdoors and mountains and stuff. I don't know if it's just because it's a really like aggressive music and that those kind of terrains are kind of like creepy and in like mythology and folklore. Like a lot of the woods and mountains are scary and brutal. Like when you think brutal, you think metal and you think mountains. A lot of these heavy metal bands or black metal bands or these extreme bands.
I think they're doing that from like the countries that they originate from, like a lot of the Norwegian, Swedish metal that you hear. I mean, they're growing up around this stuff. Abbott from Immortal, he said he was just walking in the woods and he saw an owl in a tree and he started getting riffs in his head. Like that is so cool. Like American bands are more industrial influenced, I think.
Well, yeah.
Like thrash metal and, you know.
Well, you're more heavily influenced by the European
for sure.
stuff anyways. I think what was we had a review once that said like the only the only European metal band from America or something.
we always got, even in Hammerhorde, they would say stuff like that.
Well, you guys did a lot of stuff with Hammerhorde. All your album covers are all like nature based, like Vikings and all this shit.
Just something about the way the Europeans do it always appealed to us musically.
You know what's weird, man, is I run into people on time, mostly on Instagram. I don't even have like a personal Instagram account. Like
I noticed that.
Aptitude Outdoors, because like that's all I do. Like that.
Isn't that
music.
what Instagram is really for, though? To like project your business?
I don't know what it's for. I just post
I
videos
just post
of this
bullshit.
podcast. You just post videos of you shredding your guitar all the time. But a lot of people have reached out to me. They like randomly find out that I'm in the band and they're like, "Oh, dude, you're into metal? Me too."
Oh,
it's
sweet.
so weird.
And they're fans of the Aptitude Outdoors?
Yeah, they're just people that I talk to, and it's pretty funny. Like a lot of them will, and I've never talked about it on the podcast. Like I might have mentioned that I was in a band here and there. So it's, I guess people can easily find out what you do on the internet just by searching your name or whatever. But it's weird. A lot of the people are like, "I'm into that too," and it's just like they come out of the woodwork. A lot of people that like the outdoors apparently like metal too.
I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it's like
look at Ted Nugent, man. I mean, he's a rocker,
Fred
but
Bell.
Yup.
He likes to rock and roll. He likes to kill stuff. And
Hey, I'm not gonna dog Ted Nugent at all. He has his opinions, and that's great. Everybody does. But
you better be careful. He lives up by you in
I
Michigan.
was get an arrow through the head. Drive-by arrow. Hey, he's a badass. He likes to rock on the guitar and he likes to kill shit with a bow and arrow.
You think you're gonna get into hunting?
I need somebody to take me. Come on, Paul.
I mean, I'm definitely down. It's just you live far.
Do you need a guide when you first go? Because it's like, okay, I'm just going to go in this field and I'm just going to start hunting. I just don't think it works that way.
I will say I did. I had my friend Bill, who was on the podcast also, I think it was like episode 3 or 4 or something. He took me hunting the first time. And I mean, you can watch as many YouTube videos as you want, but until it happens and you kill something, you're like, oh shit. Like now I have to find it. I have to track it.
And you have to clean it.
Because, yeah, not every kill. Like you see all the hunting shows, except for Meat Eater, but that one's super realistic. Like they show the good and the bad. But a lot of the hunting shows I watched before when I was younger were just kill, shoot, dead.
On the plate.
And then it's, yep, good to go. But like that's not how it is. The first deer I shot.
What's an example of the bad? You got one?
Yeah, it's the first deer I shot. I figured this thing's going to just drop dead. And it literally took off into a completely separate woodlot, like a mile from where I shot it, or I would say close to a half a mile, I'm exaggerating. And then I had to find the damn thing. Like the blood trail ran out. We spent an hour and a half tracking this thing. and then we find it, and then I had to hook my tree climbing harness to it and drag it.
Now, what was that like? I mean, was it full tilt? Like,
yeah, dude, it's like it would be like dragging
a person.
Man, this beer is giving me gas.
Yeah, me too.
It's like dragging a just dead weight, like 140-pound sandbag or something, just dead weight. And then it's got antlers on it, so it's getting stuck on everything.
Damn.
Just dead weight. And then you drag it through a muddy ass cornfield. It's adding weight. Then you gut it. And then you got to drag it all the way back up to your house.
You gutted it in your garage out here, right?
No, we gutted it in the field, which is a process.
Oh yeah, the field dressing. But did you skin it? I remember you sent me a photo. It was like over top a kiddie pool or something.
No, that was a different story. But then the first deer I did not do that. I took it to a processor.
Okay.
Because it was cold. It was like when it's cold out, you can just
throw it out in the lawn.
It's gonna stay out. It's gonna stay fine. But when it's warmer, it's tough. It's what is it? I don't know. Well, I don't know when this will come out. But right now it's like mid-October, so it's still not that cold. I mean, it's like a little chilly. But yeah, man, learning how to gut from someone who's done it before is yeah. I wouldn't suggest going out by yourself unless you're really confident. But yeah, we'll get out there sometime. We just got to work on those archery skills first.
You got to hit what you're shooting at.
That's that. I would suggest getting better at archery first. Not that you do bad. It's just you gotta be accurate.
Hit what you don't want to injure deer running around.
Yeah, and I'm no fucking badass archer. Like I wouldn't take a shot at this point. You saw me miss an arrow at 30 yards today. I was pissed.
Yeah,
because I usually don't. I usually am pretty good.
Expert level.
No, not even close.
Well, an interesting fact I read is be careful when you're reaching your hand in a deer because you could cut your hand wide open on someone else's arrow too.
I never heard that, but yeah, you could. They're getting shot at all the damn time.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing and you're trying to gut a deer, you could totally just completely screw it up bad.
Yeah, see, I don't
get guts.
I don't
everywhere.
want no part of that.
Yeah.
And then we were watching the survival show called Alone, where have you ever seen it? They're competing. It's like 10 people, and then they narrow it down. Like they either are starving and they give up, or whatever the reason, they break a leg and got to go home. Whoever's left wins. But the dude killed a moose, and you're thinking, sweet, he's got meat the whole episode, He was starving to death eating a moose because it was too lean. So he was eating every day, but he was starving.
Yeah,
because there's no fat.
I've heard of that. Yeah,
that's crazy.
There's just too. I think what do they call it in like northern Canada? They call it like rabbit starvation. Like you can kill and eat rabbits every day, but there's no fat on them, so you're just like.
I didn't know the body would starve.
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
That. Wow.
This all protein diet, no vitamins and minerals, and fat is just straight up. We don't have to worry about that here. We just had I had like a barbecue brisket sandwich or something.
He said, I'm gonna go light, and he gets a barbecued brisket sandwich with bacon and onion rings.
It was awesome.
It looked good.
Yeah. We also had to wait at this restaurant for like a friggin' hour for a sandwich.
That was a long time. There wasn't that many people there. I won't name drop, but that's okay. We all have bad days.
We all have bad days, and we're in a pandemic, so whatever.
We're in a pandemic.
But
how does that affect the outdoors at all, or is the outdoors the place to be?
Outdoors is the place to be, man.
That's what
socially distanced outdoors. I mean, you're outside, and you walk on a trail, and you get pretty close to people here and there. But I mean, if you're not a dick and you are like conscious of people around you, there's definitely space to be socially distanced. Like we went to the archery park today. There was people everywhere, but we were never within 6 foot of another person. We stayed.
Everybody was pretty respectful.
Yeah, everybody stayed back, and people had masks, but everybody was chill. And
well, even like guitars, they said mid-range guitars are through the roof, the sales. So I can imagine outdoor gear is probably the same thing. It's probably just flying off the shelf.
I don't know if it was nationwide, but locally here, when the pandemic hit, you couldn't buy a bike. Every store was sold out of bikes because people were looking for something to do. You can't go to the store. You can't have more than one person here and there. You can't go to restaurants for the first couple of months. And, things seem to be kind of slowly going back to normal, but the outdoors, they never shut down the parks here once. They had warnings like, hey, if we see people out here not following the rules, we're going to shut them down, but they never shut down. Everything remained open. All the bike trails are open.
That's sweet.
And I was actually sweating. I was like, shit, I'm going to be going insane.
Oh, because you
that's
thought
what
you
I
weren't
do,
going to have
yeah.
anything to do.
That's what I do, and I the whole pandemic I've been riding mountain bikes, going and doing archery, just
Paulie's living the dream. This hasn't hurt him one bit.
This is great, man. But so what's your plans? You gonna get your own backpack next time? You gonna just keep using my old junky shit until it falls apart?
Do you care if I just keep using your shit?
That's what I got it for.
I'm like, spend $300, or maybe I could just use Paulie's stuff. But no, I would like to have. It's nice to have your own stuff. Fits, yeah. I can throw it down, not worry about it. Well, it's funny.
You're like, what should I wear? I got jeans. I was like, if you wear jeans, you're gonna have a bad time. You're like, what? Got you some. We got you
trail pants.
Rocking the North Face now.
Yeah,
looking like a real boy,
dude. This thing is so warm. It's incredible, and it's light.
It's funny because people always used to make all. I always been in this weird world between like metalheads and outdoors people.
You're
and
sandwiched
metalheads
in between. You're getting made fun of by the metalheads.
Yeah, metalheads hate everything that's not like death metal t-shirts and jeans.
Black.
And I was like, you used to have all the metal dudes like North Face. Get out of here.
They just don't know.
Yeah, but it's so comfortable. All that shit is like all that technical gear works and it performs and it's awesome and it lasts forever. You used the backpack that I hiked over 2,000 miles in, and you had no issues with it.
Right.
Like, so the clothing, all the stuff. You guys still razz me for wearing that shit because I don't dress like a metalhead like ever.
Yeah, but that makes us stand out from the. And you're the front man, so you're supposed to be a little different than the two guys behind you.
Please stop wearing tan pants to the band.
It looks like you're wearing slacks.
But hey, whatever. So hey, man, thanks for coming on the podcast with me. We got some shit we got to go get done, so we're probably already gonna.
We're gonna do another one. We're gonna get in trouble. Sorry, Cessna.
Our drummer's probably already pissed. We were supposed to be there already, but hey, this is heavy metal, and we are never on time. So cheers, Derik.
Cheers, thanks. Brother. Check out Astorborn, everybody, and Aptitude Outdoors.
We'll see y'all next time.
All right, guys, you just completed your first backpacking trip. How do you feel?
Ooh, wore out, man. It gets you that last day.
And that last miles of the car is always the worst. It's just like feels like 10 miles.
We hit some telephone poles, and he said, or somebody said, "Oh, cool, we're getting close." Paul was like, "Nope, 2 more to go."
Would you do it again?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Cool views. Got to eat a bunch of junk food.
We got to escape the hustle and bustle of the city life.
Yep. And now we're about to go hit up some breweries and drink some beer.
Amen.
Oh!